Hi, this is Courtney with Ginger Knots. Today I want to show you how to make the layer scarf. This one is an extra wide and a bit shorter of a scarf than what you would normally think of. This one is meant to just be worn looped over your neck once, and I haven't weaved in the ends as you can tell, and then fall to about hip length as you wear it. So when I thought this one up, I meant to have something that I could wear under a coat that would lay nice and flat, and I didn't have to ruin my hair by taking it on and off. This video is going to be for those of you who have experience with crochet. It's going to be a bit faster, so we're going to jump right in. Before I get too far ahead, this is size 5 bulky yarn. This is actually discontinued. This is Lion brand Woolies Chunky, and they don't make it anymore, unfortunately. And then the size of hook I'm using is a P hook. So this hook is a bit big for the size of yarn, but I wanted it to have a nice drape. So that is an 11.5 millimeter P hook. So you can tie your slip knot to get started. I tied it the wrong way the first time. There we go. And we're going to want to chain 108. That's how many I started with, and you can certainly start with more or less depending on how long you want your scarf to be. So I'm not going to chain 108 right now. I'm going to only chain about 14 or so, and then I'm going to just show you how to do each row. So from here, after we've gotten our even number of chains, so that's something that's important if you're going to alter the pattern at all, and I'm going to double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So we're going to double crochet right here. So what this will give us is an odd number of stitches after our first row is all said and done. So you want to have, these are all double crochet stitches, and we're double crocheting into each of the chains that we initially made. So if you wanted to see how to make double crochets, I do have a beginner series on how to do each stitch. So the first one is up right now, and the next ones should be up by the time you watch this video. So I will show you how to do chains and single crochets, double crochets, half doubles in US terms, all of those things. So this one is just for those of you who are ready to get cracking on this pattern. So now we have done all of our doubles across. And I'm going to move my light so it's a little better for the camera. There we go. So now you should have a foundation row of double crochets. From there, we are going to chain up 3, turn our work. We are going to treat this as a stitch, so we're not going to work into this first space right here, so that we're going to pretend doesn't exist, and we're going to skip 1 and then double crochet into that next space. So we're going to double crochet into right there, chain 1, skip 1 space, and double crochet into the next. This is going to give us those nice holes. So chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet again. So we would do this across the 108 beginning stitches. I think it should bring us to about 107 once we have the doubles worked in. And then we're going to do another double into the very last stitch. So yours, of course, will be quite a bit wider than mine. It'll be as wide as this guy behind us here. So the next row is going to give us a chain up 3, turn our work, and then we're going to start crisscrossing. So we're going to skip this whole chain space, and we're going to work into this next chain space. So you're going to yarn over, go through that space, and pull through twice, and then we're going to work back into this. So we're going to actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab this like this. We're going to lay this stitch down, and then we're going to work into that bar right there. So I'm going to yarn over, lay that stitch down, and work into the previously skipped space. So you can see there's the bottom legs of that stitch worked into that space, so they end up being crisscrossed. So we're going to do that again. Now this is the one we are skipping. I know that's already got a stitch in it, but we're going to put another one there. We're going to work into this one. So we're going to double crochet into that space, and then we're going to work backwards and underneath this stitch into this bar right here. So we're going to grab this, we're going to lay this down right here, and we're going to work into that bar. So yarn over, go right into that space, and work a double crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across. So this is another row we're going to end up repeating, so you're going to get very comfortable with that stitch. Almost to the end. It's way more satisfying to do them in short rows than it is the long ones. So now we've worked in all of our spaces across and we're to the end. So we're going to make sure our stitch is nice and close to that bar, and we're going to work into one of the chains. So that's about the second chain up. We're going to just do a double crochet into that. So that's what's going to frame the sides and give us that nice straight line there. So now we've got our first rows, and we're going to do these in repeats. So we're going to repeat this row and this row back and forth until we're done. So from here we're going to chain up 3 again. 1, 2, and 3. Turn our work, and we're not going to work into the bunny ears here like we would normally. We're actually going to work between the crisscross stitches because we want to make those a bit more defined. So you see this bar right here that is kind of in our way, that and it's normally we would work here. You want to pick that bar up as well so that you're going between the posts of those stitches. So we're going to yarn over and go right through there, and then finish our double crochet, chain 1, and skip all the way over to the next section of crosses. So we're going to double crochet into there, and then we're going to chain 1, skip over to the next, and work into there. Chain 1, skip, and then for the last one we're going to chain 1 again after our last crossing stitches, and then we're going to grab the top of the chains before we started crossing in the last round. We just chained 1. We're going to double crochet into that top of that chains from the last round. So now we should have a nice little square guy here with a row of crosses and 2 rows of the skipping rows, and then you're just going to keep doing that. So like I did here in the full version of that, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows where we chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of the crossing stitches. So we're going to, what I would keep doing if were doing a whole scarf is I would chain up 3 and turn my work, skip this first one here, and start doing the crossing stitches. And I would work that until we get to either the desired width, or till you run out of yarn, or until you've had as many as I just counted for you. But we're not, I'm going to just show you how to finish the scarf now. So instead of chaining 3 on the last row, I would chain 2. So I'm going to take 1 off because I just chained 3 there. So now I've only chained up 2. And I'm going to work a double into each chain space and into each actual double. So here's a double into the chain, and then now I'm going to work into the last stitch, or the stitch from the last round right there, and then into the chain space and into the stitch, and I will do that all the way across. This will give us a nice edge so our scarf can be flipped over however you'd like, and it'll still match. It'll look the same on both edges. Almost there. So we're into the last stitch, so we're going to put 1 in this space here, and then we're going to put the last one into the top of the chain so that our edge is nice and clean. And then we would cut off a nice long tail and weave in the ends. And then you'll definitely want to block this scarf, because otherwise those stitches aren't going to stand out and be really defined. So if you've never blocked before, there's tons of great YouTube videos of people who have done a lot of steam blocking or dunking it and getting it super wet and pinning it out, however you'd like to do that. This is our little test square of the layer scarf, but here she is all finished up. And I hope that this gave you good instructions on how to make it. The written pattern is also available on my blog, that is gingerknots.com, and you can check out my other YouTube videos, especially if this one went a little quickly for you. I will be recording another version of this for a beginner. Thank you so much.